shoot, that's so good. Hi, welcome to Fiber Love Diary. I'm Trish if we haven't met, and if we have met, welcome back. How are you? And it's actually Valentine's Day here. It's morning and I don't have to use my ring light because there's light coming into the window. How wonderful is that? Yay! I have a lot going on today. I'm going to take you guys through the spinning process and the dyeing process for the fiber that we got in the Paradise Fibers subscription for January. So we got, I'm going to show you some pictures or some clips from the video. We actually got this really sparkly Stellina Merino. I don't know why Merino and Stellina are so hard to say together for me, but like I want to mess them up. And we got that blend, which was a 70 Merino, 30 Stellina blend, and I spun it first and then I dyed it because I kind of knew I wanted a tonal color, and I figured, you know, it's just easier to dye it after it's already spun and not worry about felting as much, although I could have still felted it. But if it's a single color, I feel like spin it and then dye it is fine. And then I dyed the Humbug Roving first, which was I think all merino, and then I spun that because I wanted it to be tonal again, but I knew that the gray in the Humbug was gonna show up differently in the spinning, and then the like tones in the dyeing would show up differently, and I figured if I spun that after I would get more of a heathered look. So I did two completely different things with these, and I think it turned out pretty amazing. To be honest with you guys, the way that the Stellina Merino turned out boggles my mind. I like them both, but I talked about it while we were like going through the process. So stay to the end so you can see the finished yarns. They turned out amazing. I'm just really happy with them. I'm about to start spinning the February box, but first I have to get all this stuff listed on Etsy, and I have to get my taxes to the point where I'm ready to start filling in the blanks. So I'm actually really close, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this stuff listed first, because if I don't, it's all gonna just be sitting here, and I really wanna like put it away in its places where it stays until it gets sold. Also, while I spin the February box, bag, whatever, I'm gonna talk a little bit about what's been going on in 2022 that I didn't really plan for or anticipate, and just kind of like, because some of you guys have been like, hey Trish, where are you? Are you okay? I'm great. I took a pause. We talked about it in a live, but a lot of you guys don't come to the lives, which is fine. No worries. Everything's good. But you wouldn't know about it if I don't tell you about it. So while I actually spin, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about kind of like what has happened, what is going on, because my plans for 2022 are really changed completely, to be honest. And I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about it. So hi, how are you? I'm glad to see you. I'm glad to be back. We're gonna go spin, and stay to the end so you can see the finished yarns, because oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Honestly, I don't even think this is picking up exactly how sparkly it is. I do have some stick out Stellina, but that's pretty normal. There's only so much you can do about that. Some of you are probably going to wonder what I'm doing here. I was winding my hand for turkey plying and I snapped my single, so I figured I would just ply off the bobbin with what I had already wound onto my hand, and that would give me less to wind on. So I just went ahead and did my 2-ply until I got done with what was on my hand and wound it correctly again. Man, you can't even see how sparkly this actually is on camera. This is nuts. I'm not really sure if I would do this again. Maybe I would the exact same way. I guess I want to see how it dyes up. I'm going to tell you guys ahead of time, before I ever even soak it, that my guess is that the Stellina won't dye, but it does have nylon in it, so maybe it will. I don't know. I want it to, but I don't think it is going to. And I want to dye it like a really deep wine red, like a I guess burgundy, more than a like purpley wine. You know, sometimes you see them more red, sometimes you see them more purple. I am gonna try and go for a more red wine color. So I have this soaking now. It's been soaking a couple hours, and it is in a solution of water and citric acid. There's probably only a teaspoon of citric acid in here. I'm gonna get in close. Look how sparkly it is. And we're gonna dye it. This water was boiling just a second ago, and I am gonna use the Dharma Cabernet, and I'm gonna just put in a tiny, tiny bit of the poinsettia. All right, I'm gonna turn the heat on. After about 15 minutes, I went ahead and mixed this again because it just didn't seem as dark as I wanted it to be, and the dye was mostly taken up. So I added another batch of the exact same color mix. Okay, so it's really hard to get the color because the light reflects off so much of the sparkle. But, you guys, it is much darker than it looks in video. Maybe once it's maybe once it's dry, I'll be able to get a more true color for you. And I could be wrong. And you really can't know until you can get in here, but it does look like the nylon turned pink. So it definitely does not look silver because the silver would be so light against this dark, dark red. So I guess we'll check it out when we get it dry. Maybe I'll pull one or two little shreds of nylon out and we'll look at it really closely, but it looks like it may have taken some color. But I'm very happy with this. I'm going to just let it cool down. So I guess I never filmed what two colors I actually used for the blue, but it was a mix of midnight blue from Dharma dyes and some sapphire from Jacquard. All right, so here is the dyed Humbug, but I really like the depth that the Humbug adds, because you get all different shades, way more shades than if you just dyed a white roving. And I'm gonna spin it. I mean, I assume this is gonna look like denim. It already kind of has that indigo-y kind of look to it. The other merino with the Stellina mixed in was so nice to spin, and I'm really not a merino fan, so I guess let's go. Isn't that cool looking though? I am moving, I'm so sorry. Oh, it's looking cool, love it. So this is the sparkly one. You guys, I'm a little afraid that you won't be able to tell on camera how sparkly it actually is. It's insanely sparkly. Every move you make picks up like a million new sparkles. It's just amazing. They both ended up being between sport and DK weight. The blue is a tiny bit lighter, and then the let me tell you the yardage. I can't read it. I got 326 yards of the Humbug, the blue. It turned out to be a very denim-y blue too, because of the heather, I think, and also the color I chose. I think it's like 304 of this. Yes. 304 of the sparkly stuff, so just a tiny shade less yardage. Not much though, I came out pretty close to the same. And I've told you guys about these tags before. These are those Tyvek bracelets, and they don't dye, which is why I like them. You can get them wet, they just make it through everything. So I hope you guys enjoyed spinning with me today, and I will see you next week with the next bag. Thanks, I love you, bye.